Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this Firefly Fun House theory video. It's been a while since we did one of these and we've got Ramblin Rabbit to thank for it because he was on Smackdown and he came out with the line, Finn Balor doesn't understand that the Fun House really is and then got cut off. Couldn't finish his sentence. Because Bray Wyatt came in. Bray Wyatt looking quite manic. He was laughing his head off. Said, let me in. That was the end of the promo. So, what was Ramblin Rabbit gonna say? What is the Firefly Fun House? Apparently, it's something. I kind of feel like the is quite important because asylum doesn't fit. I don't feel like he was gonna say that. It's asylum doesn't work. It could be mental well-being facility or, you know, asylum under a different name. We can still explore that theory, but it really didn't feel like he was about to say asylum, and I would say that's probably the most popular theory out there at the moment. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about asylums or mental well-being facilities, however you want to word them. This is a hard theory, and the reason why is because we've got the Fiend on Raw and Smackdown, yet Bray Wyatt is meant to be in a mental asylum, so how can he be in two places at the same time? The other thing as well is that we saw the puppets backstage on Raw and Smackdown, yet we keep seeing them in the Firefly Fun House, so again, how can they be in two places at the same time? So this is what I'm saying, the asylum theory has got challenges to it. We can try and explain them. I can't find anything that fits that well. But the first thing would be that the Fiend isn't Bray, right? The Fiend could be a different person. We haven't seen the Fiend take the mask off yet. Now, the body type, the look, the hair, the build, everything suggests that it is Bray. This isn't a theory that I like or really want to spend too much time on, but it would explain as to how we're seeing the Fiend in the arena and Bray Wyatt in a mental facility. That would explain it, but I don't think it's that because it looks like Bray, it walks like Bray. I'm pretty sure it is Bray. So let's put that to one side. Next is that the Fiend is supernatural. The Fiend is not human, right? We know the Fiend is Bray's darkness. But what if Bray is in an asylum, but is able to still send the Fiend out? What if the Fiend can still go to Raw, go to SmackDown, do the work that needs to be done, whilst Bray is still in this mental facility? That would work. Still doesn't really explain the puppets. I think the supernatural thing would be a real challenge for a lot of people. You know, if it turns out the Fiend is just not human at all, I think people would really struggle with that. Although saying that, we saw the Fiend disappear in the final episode of the Firefly Fun House. Not only that, we keep seeing him appear in the ring out of nowhere. The lights go off and then bang, the Fiend is in the ring. Lights go off and bang, he's gone. So, you know, he is someone that has shown he has those abilities. But I still feel like that is a big push. You really are asking people then to buy into this whole supernatural thing. And some people are going to resist that. The only other thing that I could think of is that the asylum happened. Bray Wyatt was there. But it's all in the past. Now, I kind of like this one the most. If you want to talk about the asylum, I think if Bray was there in the past and he filmed himself in the asylum, and that was the Funhouse episodes, and those were the promos that we're seeing at the moment, and now he is the Fiend. That's how we're seeing him in the asylum and in the arenas. That's how the puppets were in the asylum, yet they're also backstage because they are out now as well. Like, the asylum could have been at the end of 2018, and now Bray's out. Bray is now the Fiend. So I kind of like that. The The only downside is, of course, he's talking about Finn Balor. He's talking about things that are happening at the moment. The only thing I can think is that he recorded all of it, planned all of it well in advance. He knew as soon as he was getting out, he was going to challenge Finn Balor. He knew Finn Balor wouldn't say no, so then he recorded a video saying, I'm glad that you accepted, but I think you've made a big mistake. You know, he could have all of this planned out. The only downside to that is that he would have so many videos. You know, this wouldn't be an indefinite character. Like, eventually, he's going to come to the end of the videos he recorded. So, I don't know. I think they would want more longevity to the character than that. It's difficult. That's what I'm saying. The asylum theory is difficult. If you know a way of explaining it and it working, you know, Bray being in an asylum, yet that's how the Fiend is able to be on Raw and SmackDown, let me know in the comments below. Let me know, because that's the best that I could find or come up with. Let's move on to a different theory. So, the Fun House is a figment of your imagination. Now, it could be your imagination, my imagination, the Fiend's imagination, Finn Balor's imagination. Could be we're seeing clips of different people's imaginations each week. Could be that the Fun House just isn't a real place. It could be that it's just, if you let him in, then you see it. You see it on screen. That's what you're seeing. It could be that we've all let him in, and that's how we're watching the Firefly Fun House. I kind of like this theory because they've been putting over Finn Balor in those promos. They've been saying to Finn Balor that, you know, he's one of their favourite wrestlers. If that's inside his mind, he'd probably be thinking those things. He'd probably be thinking that he is the best wrestler. But then he might have a bit of self-doubt, and that's why they're saying, but you've made a mistake by challenging the Fiend. So I kind of feel like there's a merit to it. It would never have to end. It could just keep continuing. But people, I think, would struggle with the idea of seeing in people's minds. You know, it could be that it's all in the Fiend's mind. We're seeing what's happening in the Fiend's mind. I do feel like the Fiend's mind would be darker than that. Obviously, I don't think we're going to see in Finn Balor's mind for the rest of this character. Like, that would be weird. So I suppose there is still issues with this as a theory. It's not my favourite theory, but I think it being inside Bray's mind, or the Fiend's mind, or Finn Balor's mind, or your mind, or my mind, or Vince McMahon's mind. Could you imagine if it was in Vince McMahon's mind? It's a figment of Vince McMahon's imagination. Vince thought of it, so made the puppets. We're watching what's going on in his mind. The Fiend is what Bray is now. Does that work? The final one to talk about is the Fun House is a state of limbo. It is purgatory. It is a place between heaven and hell. So basically, Bray Wyatt is trapped. Bray Wyatt could have died, and as a result of him dying, he is now trapped in the Fun House. And as a result of that, he's had to send the Fiend to Raw, to SmackDown, to get closure. The Fiend is there to get closure. So, you know, Bray Wyatt is forgiving people. You know, he just wants to move on. But, yeah, he needs the Fiend to get a little bit of closure. That's why he's gone after Finn Balor, to close off that feud. That's why I think he will attack Randy Orton, because I think there definitely needs to be closure there. I wouldn't be surprised if he went after Daniel Bryan, Rowan, Harper, you know, Braun Strowman even. I'm sure there can be arguments found for him going after lots of different people. He's had interactions with pretty much the whole roster at some point, so pretty sure you can find a reason somewhere. But I like the idea of him needing closure, but again, people would struggle with, how am I watching Limbo? How am I seeing a place that doesn't exist? So again, we're going down a supernatural path. So it is very difficult. It is hard to try and explain what the Funhouse is. I suppose the final theory would be the Funhouse is a real place. The Funhouse is a real place. And I saw someone mention that it could be built on the grounds where the cabin used to be. The cabin that was burnt down by Randy Orton. It could be that Bray has rebuilt it, and now he's got this Funhouse. And now he is trying to get that closure. He's trying to find a way forward. He's got the Fiend rather than Sister Abigail. It would be a real place. It would explain how we're getting to see Bray, and we're getting to see the Fiend. It explains how the puppets can move around. It kind of explains a lot of things, but I don't know, is that exciting enough for people that Bray has built a Funhouse and now he's trying to get revenge? Is that... I don't know. I feel like people really want it to be an asylum. There we go then, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Hopefully Ramblin Rabbit finally tells us what the Firefly Funhouse is. We've explored a few of the more out there ones. But yeah, let me know. I'd love to know people's thoughts and theories down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.